Okay, Mafia, it's your boy Artofkickz, and just like that, we back with another one. Alright, y'all, so good news. The AC is finally fixed. The dude just left, he just fixed it, it's working now. It's still not cooled down, you know, it takes a while for the whole apartment to get to the temperature that I set it at. But it's getting there. I'm feeling better already. I don't have to turn that on, even though there's some outside noise. I'm gonna take that out the window. I'm gonna get rid of that altogether. Hopefully I can get them to reimburse me for it. So that's what I'm gonna be shooting for tomorrow. But besides all that, the video that we're checking out today is the most dangerous prison inmates in the world. Now, y'all have seen I have done reactions to prisoners reacting to their life sentence. I'm actually about to make a playlist. I think it's a playlist. I think that's what it is, where you kind of group certain stuff together. So I want to do that for all the different artists that I react to. All the different types of reactions, rather it be the ghost videos or the prison sentence. I'm gonna group all that stuff together, so for my viewers that like to binge watch my videos, now you'll be able to do it a lot easier if you're trying to stick to a certain category of videos to check out. So that's coming soon. Yeah, bear with me, give me a little time. I'm gonna be doing that between today and tomorrow. I got over 1,200 uploads on this channel. Heck, I've done 103 uploads just in the past month. Yeah, your boy be working, your boy be grinding, but I got a lot of videos to go through, so just bear with me, and I'm gonna get those playlists together for you guys soon. I think that's what it's called. I don't know, I never really did it. But anyway, enough talking. We're about to get into this thing. Y'all boys and girls ready? I'm ready. This is the most dangerous prison inmates in the world. Let's go.
Guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at the 10 most dangerous prison inmates in the world. We all know that prisons are one scary place, mainly because of who's in them. Yeah. We all see bad criminals in newspapers from time to time, but these are the scariest and most—
Yo, that fool look hella crazy, man. He got some mental issues for real.
Dangerous prison inmates you don't even know about. Coming in at number 10, we have the real Pennywise. We all know the hit book, miniseries, and now movie It. It is about a clown that goes around scaring kids and taking their—
I need to watch the OG It, the original It movie. It's been too long. I need to see that movie again.
Their lives. This is good for a fright, but it's all fiction, right? Well, not exactly, because back in the 1980s, which is when the It movie was set, there was a real-life version of Pennywise. The guy was called John Wayne Gacy, and he was, on the surface, a normal husband and father, but he had a crazy secret life.
I didn't know this dude was a husband and a father too. If I remember correctly, I think the books, the It books, are like on a whole nother level. Like, stuff happens in the books they would never put in the movies.
But he had a crazy secret life. He began to dress up as a character he called Pogo the Clown. Pogo was supposed to be like Bozo, but as I said, this guy's more like Pennywise. That is because he would volunteer at children's parties. During this time, he would take as many kids as possible and then take their lives. They found missing people in his crawl space inside his house and in a nearby river. He's gone down as one of the most scary and most dangerous criminals to ever exist. Luckily, he's locked up behind bars today, but this still doesn't change how terrifying he really is. I'm pretty sure this
man got issues, man. Now you see why people be afraid of clowns, because of fools like this. This man was out here killing kids, killing people, having them stored at his home. It's crazy, man. I heard about this cat. I knew about this dude, Pogo the Clown, man. This, shame.
This guy's put a lot of people off clowns forever. Next up is Lobster Boy. This criminal is very odd and has lived one of the most odd lives ever lived. His real name is Grady Franklin Stiles Jr. He was nicknamed Lobster Boy thanks to a condition that's common in his family. He went into the carnival at the age of 7 as there weren't many things he could do thanks to his hands.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is common amongst his family. It's weird. It looks like they have a thumb and they have a pinky and everything right here is just missing. Like, wow.
He later got married to another carnival performer, but as he aged, he became angry and drank way too much, which caused him to turn evil. He was horrible to his wife and 4 kids, 2 of which had hands like he did. When one of his kids without the odd hands grew up and got married, he became jealous and shot her husband in the face. He went to prison but was released years later. He then began to say he would do the same thing he did to his kid's husband to his wife, as she'd got remarried when he was locked up. But his wife didn't want to take any chances, so she paid another carnival worker $1,500 to take him out. Nobody came to his funeral, and on his grave was just his name and 2 praying hands.
Wow, that's crazy. Wait a minute, did I catch that story correctly? Correct me if I'm wrong. I should just go back, but it sounds like this dude got jealous of one of his kids' husbands, like his daughter's husband, as they got older or whatever. He shot the husband, his daughter's husband, in the face. He ended up going to prison. His wife remarried. Something like that. I think that's what I heard. The wife paid somebody to daggone, what she pay him, like $1,500, $1,200, something very small, to take his life, and nobody came to his funeral. Boy, he should have never joined the circus, because that dang on having a disability and being praised for your disability to that degree, to the point where you're looked at and viewed as a celebrity, really got to his head. It really got to his head. That's insane. And to think about that though, like, you got your people that will kind of just sit back and suffer and feel like, woe is me. Oh, look, I have this condition. Then you got a guy like this who abused his celebrity and thought that he was big and bad, even though he had children with this condition and that it was common amongst the people in his family. But then there's also the rare few who take a condition like this and become kind of empowered in a positive way, because they're like, hey, look, I can do anything that you can do, and I'm not allowing my disability to hold me back or to keep me down. I mean, it's all about the mental when it comes to this type of stuff. It's interesting. That's crazy.
$100 to take him out. Nobody came to his funeral, and on his grave was just his name and 2 praying hands. Wow, those hands just add insult to injury. Next up is Eyeball Man. This is not only one of the scariest and most dangerous criminals, but he's also one of the scariest looking men on this planet.
Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. It just look tight. This just look cool as hell. He got his eyeball blacked out. Like the tats, he got one side of his face almost like skeleton with like a dope design. I've only ever seen a picture of this guy before. I never knew his story.
In 2012, he was arrested for shooting a cop in a bathroom argument. Now that's bad enough, but that isn't what brought him media attention. What brought him all this attention was the scary tattoos he had all over his face. He's obsessed with tattoos and has over 20 just on his face. But
if y'all notice something, he had the tattoos when he had a little bit more weight to him. If you look back, like right here, he looks like he has just a little bit more weight on him, and the tattoos don't look as appealing or as cool. I don't know if this looked like this might have been a little bit later on in life. I don't know though. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know if this is before or after this, but it looks cooler here. You know what I'm saying? With his slim down features, it looks more suited for this type of head and this face structure. But I don't know which is which though. Which one came first? Comment down below, because I know some of you guys know.
Only place he has tattoos. He also has a tattooed black eyeball, which is why many people call him Eyeball Man. His real name is Jason Barnum, and he is one scary looking guy. From his Facebook photos, we can also see this guy has tattoos all over his entire body. Not only that, he's got a giant skull tattoo on the top of his head, so maybe he should be called Skull Man instead. This guy looks so scary. Even if he hadn't committed a crime, I think he'd still make this list. I know you shouldn't normally judge a book by its cover, but perhaps this guy is an exception. Coming up next is the Red Ripper. This guy's nickname is the Red Ripper. It's a parody of Jack the Ripper, who took the lives of hundreds of women in England many years ago. And the red part is because this guy's from Rostov in the Soviet Union, which is now Russia. His real name is Andrei Chikatilo, and he took the lives of over 52 women and children over a span of 12 years. He was a suspect in many crimes for many years, and was in and out of jail. But there was never enough evidence to convict him of anything serious. Finally, after a police snare in 1990, he was caught and confessed to taking 36 people's lives. But this was found to be an understatement, and he was convicted of doing this to 52 people in 1992. However, it seems the Russian police wanted him to get some karma, so they took his life as a punishment. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone's appearances here either, but this guy looks seriously creepy as well.
He looked crazy.
He just looks like a typical James Bond villain, don't you think?
Yeah, he does.
Next up is Monster. Now, there's a very good reason I'm calling this woman a monster. That's because she is so evil it's Hollywood-worthy. A movie was made about her and her crimes, and Charlize Theron won many awards for playing her in the movie Monster.
Oh, I've heard of this movie. Yo, I gotta see this movie. I gotta see this movie to give me a little bit more context as to just how sinister this type of person is.
Her real name is Aileen Wuornos, and she's one of the only women on this.
Hold on, let me write it down. I don't know if this is on Netflix or Hulu, but I'm gonna find out. Monster.
List. But don't worry ladies,
Woo!
This is a good thing, as she is awful. She took the lives of 7 men between the years 1989 and 1990. She unfortunately did have a pretty rough childhood, but that still didn't stop people from being seriously angry when her crimes came to light in 1991. She was arrested and confessed to everything 4 days later. She remained in jail for about 11 more years until she passed away herself thanks to the jury vote. In court she was acting crazy and freaked out all the jurors and even the judge. The reason she got such a harsh sentence is because she showed absolutely no remorse and said she would happily do it all again. Next up is game show contestant.
She was crazy for real. You look, you know somebody crazy when they don't show any remorse when it comes to the crimes they committed. No remorse. And then on top of that, they'll do it again? To say they would do it again? Yep. You set yourself up. I mean, like, that's crazy. Think about that. If you don't lie yourself, if you don't lie your way out of a situation, even if you did like heinous crimes like that, you don't lie yourself out of the situation, your ass crazy. Like, you do know that you're gonna spend the rest of your life in prison, right? You do know that you're gonna be possibly sentenced to death, right? But you don't care. Crazy. I'm not saying that it's okay to lie under oath. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying that I would do that, because I most certainly would not. But I'm also not going to be putting myself in a situation to have to be testified against or anything as far as the prison system or to be put in front of a judge and jury. No, I don't want to do nothing. So I don't have to worry about lying. But I'm always going to do this regardless, even if I am at fault. Because the truth shall set me free. At least I hope. Look, I'm dug too deep. I'm dug way too deep. Let's get into this next guy, the game show contestant. I think I know who this is too.
This is not only one of the most scary and dangerous men ever, but one of the creepiest. His name is Rodney Alcala, and he took the lives of 5 women in the 1970s. But he subsequently admitted to doing this 34 more times. And now cops believe he's done this more than 140 times across the USA after more investigations. But the creepy thing about this guy that he will always be remembered for is appearing on a game show called The Dating Game. And believe it or not, he actually won. He was introduced by the host as a photographer, which is creepy as he would lure his victims, who were mainly models, to him by saying this. In the show, the woman would ask...
Like, he looks like a decent dude, you know what I'm saying? He looks like a decent enough guy. I remember seeing this, though, and I remember showing this to somebody as well, too. Like, he has this debonair, this charm about him, but he also has this creepy nature about him, too. And I'm going to let this dude finish telling the story. I don't know if he's going to tell the story or not in regards to the interaction between this guy, this killer, and this woman. But let's find out.
Questions to a bunch of guys to determine which guy was the best to go out with according to the audience. One of the women named Cheryl's question said, "What's the best time?" He replied, "Nighttime, because night is the only time there is, and night is when things really get good." There were a lot more creepy answers to questions I won't even get into, but in the end, she said he was too creepy to go out with despite him winning. Talk about good judgment. Well done, Cheryl.
Yep, that's what it was. She did not want to go out with him actually on an actual date because she said that he was too creepy. It's a good thing that she didn't, because she might not have lived to tell that story if she did.
You quite literally dodged a bullet. Next up is Underwear Strangler. Yeah, as you can tell by this guy's name, he is seriously strange. This guy's real name is Johann Unkundwagen, but he went as Jack. He's Austrian, and ever since his youth he was in and out of jail for petty theft and things like that. But in 1974 he changed for the worse. He strangled a woman with her own bra until she passed. He then did this to around 40 more women and then moved to LA where he did it some more. He got caught but was somehow freed from prison, but then later went to...
This man really went around strangling women with their own underwear. 40 at that, maybe more. For one, he got game. You know what I'm saying? To be able to get that many women back to your room, like, you had to be playing like the numbers game for one. Like, your ass had to be going out there each and every single night until you goddamn struck out. And if you struck out, you just boof, went right back out there. Like, you had to be doing that. But 40 women, bro. You got that many of them back to your room, and you strangled all of them with their own underwear. People strange, man. You ever think about the victims' families? You know what I'm saying? To be like someone, one of the many women that, you know, he committed that crime to be like, yo, yeah, my cousin was a victim of the underwear strangler. And that's it. That's the end of her story. Like, damn, man. I don't know, man, folks. It makes you wish that all this type of stuff would end. Like, I wish that nobody else like this in history exists. But the sad truth is, there's people out there like that now, and there are people that have yet to be born that are going to be like that, unfortunately. Oh, man. Some world we live in.
Wanted to do it 4 more times. Finally, the LAPD stopped him and he was given a life sentence. But the creepy thing about this guy is he was writing for magazines during all this, and people didn't even know it was him writing.
Wow.
Imagine your favorite columnist doing something like this. I don't know about you, but that would really freak me out. And even after he went to jail, he was still writing in his cell. He was in prison for around 4 years, but then chose to take his own life by a similar method he used on other people. I guess that's karma for you. Next up is Human Plague. This is a nickname nobody wants to have, unless perhaps you're Mary Malone. This woman holds the all-time record for taking the most lives accidentally. She was a cook in New York to wealthy families and in some offices too, but everywhere she went, a terrible scenario seemed to play out. Within 2 weeks of any place she became a cook at, all of the residents or workers developed serious conditions. And as help...
Alright, so, Human Plague. She was accidentally killing people. She was a cook, and wherever she would go, people would die. I bet I know what happened. I'm gonna make an assumption before we continue on with this video. What I'm thinking had happened was she was not very sanitary. She didn't wash her hands. She was cooking this meat, this food, whatever it was, touching all of it, spreading germs, very, very harmful germs to people that she might have been immune to. But these germs were killing these people, which is why they call her the Human Plague. The reason I come up with this theory about this story before hearing what the actual answer is, because I read in this book, I don't remember which book it was I was reading, but they were talking about those times, and they were saying how there was a lot of women that actually died giving birth because of this same sort of situation. Because back then they didn't understand, they was not aware of how important it was to sterilize the equipment that they were using to assist in these women giving birth, whether it be syringes or whatever it may be. They didn't understand the importance of it. They didn't understand the importance of washing hands. So you got a doctor, he would help deliver one child from one lady, and then 5 minutes later he's in another room, didn't wash his hands, and now he's delivering another child with another lady, and these people were getting sick. They were dying. The babies were dying. The women were dying. It was a horrible time. So like the percentage of people getting pregnant and losing their lives was very, very high. And it just goes to show you the times that we're in now and how much more logical and how much more advanced we are in understanding this type of stuff. But let's see if I'm right. I could be way off. And if I am sorry for that rant.
Healthcare back then wasn't so great.
Wait, hold on. He said something.
Within 2 weeks of any place she became a cook at, all of the residents or workers developed serious conditions. And as healthcare back then wasn't so great, a huge amount of people ended up passing away. She was investigated by the police many times as they spotted a very obvious pattern of this happening over 20 times. But Mary denied doing anything to the food and said it was all one big coincidence. But it turned out Mary herself was very ill. She knew this and caused all the food to become bad and give others illnesses. She claimed she had no idea about it. She was treated and then lived freely outside of jail. And the police actually acted like she was a victim because she was sick. But in a diary entry found decades later, she revealed she knew about her condition the entire time. Watch out for your lunch, ladies, kids.
That's messed up. So this woman was actually ill and she knew she was ill. Oh man, so she knows she was committing a crime. She knew she was killing people. But that's one thing too that freaks me out about people is people that are ill and they know that they have something that and they can pass it on to other people, which is part of the reason why it's very important for us to be out in public wearing our mask right now. And I'm not even going to get too deep into that. Some people feel like it's not that necessary, that this thing wasn't as big as we thought it was going to be, but nonetheless, for instance, people that have sexual transmitted diseases, some people will go out there and purposely pass it on to other people because they hate the fact that they were a victim and that they caught this thing themselves. So they feel, hey, somebody easily wants to sleep with me, I'm going to easily pass this thing along to them and not let it be known. They're probably out there sleeping around with other people, so I can get away with this. It's very important to know the type of people you're dealing with, especially when it comes to laying in a bed with someone.
Ladies, kids. Next up is BTK. This guy's real name is Dennis Rader, but the authorities and the media called him BTK. I'm not gonna go into what that means, but suffice to say, it ain't nice. Between 1974 and 1991, he took the lives of at least 10 people in Kansas, USA. Much like the Zodiac, he would taunt and tease the police with letters mocking them for not being able to catch him. But these letters actually led to his eventual arrest in 2005. Dumbass. But the kick—
Dumbass. The letters led to your arrest, you idiot. Look, they're gonna pin you to write them with, dummy.
It's how they found out the BTK was Dennis. He sent them a floppy disk with a message making fun of the police who couldn't catch him. But from that, they extracted a deleted file about his church, as he was an avid member surprisingly. They then used DNA evidence of—
Oh snap, that's crazy. They was able to extract a deleted file off of a floppy disk. I didn't know they could do that type of stuff back then. That's crazy.
Deleted file about his church, as he was an avid member surprisingly. They then used DNA evidence of him on the floppy disk and at the church and finally tracked him down and arrested him. He was found guilty of 10 people's passings and was sentenced to jail time in 2005. And this criminal is still behind bars today. But don't worry, the judge says he's never coming out.
Damn, to think this man took 10 people's lives, man. What kind of... I couldn't imagine taking anyone's life, man. That is... Whew, that's heavy. That is heavy.
Next up is Hands On. This man is famous as he took over 5,000 lives just by using his hands, hence the nickname Hands On. His real name was Saul Fickler, and he was around during the Ottoman Empire. He took an average of 4 lives per day for 5 years. But how did he do it with his bare hands? Well, it was all by strangling. Believe it or not, he did this to every person, and it worked every time. He was either very strong or very skilled, but he's definitely a madman. This one is pretty historic, going all the way back to the Ottoman Empire, but there were terrible people back then too, I guess. He had no motive, or at least no known motive, and historians say he would make an amazing athlete today. But to top it all off, he actually worked for the ruler of the Ottoman Empire at the time and was their royal gardener. But he never went after the ruler or anyone of much importance. Maybe that's one title he knew he wouldn't have won. As I said,
this man just sat around just every single day just strangling people, killing them for no good reason. That's... mental. Oh my goodness. What? Yeah, these folks. Oh man, I don't know. I'm just glad they ain't on the streets no more. And obviously this last dude, he died so many years ago. But I'm glad these folks ain't on the street no more. And I pray that there ain't no people out there like this. Even though I don't know. I don't know what's out there. But man, which one of these was the craziest one of y'all? Yeah, comment down below. But man, whoo, I gotta react to something funny now. But anyway, y'all know what time it is. You like this reaction, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, the link to the video is gonna be down in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure you follow your boy here on the gram, man, Twitter at Artofkickz. Till next one.